Hey, y'all.
What's cracking, y'all?
Not much. Just been chilling of late. You?
Bit of the same.
Nice.
Watching TV, eating grilled cheese, and just generally effing off.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the craziest SOBs I know.
SOB?
Yeah, SOB. It's an acronym for son of bitch. I don't like using those words, so I shortened to SOB to, keep things chill and more under control.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for the heads up.
No problemo. By the way, imagine if... All right, this is funny. Just imagine if someone's mom called them SOB.
That would be the absolute most ridiculous, funniest thing for a mom to call a son.
Yep. Because they'd be calling themselves
Jay, you don't have to say beep. Our sound engineers can take care of that for us.
Oh, yeah. Our sound engineers. Shout out Eckhart Lowell.
And Sven Gunderson. They're both lit men who help us make this podcast. Yep. We're all one big happy family here at Up Close and Personal.
Yep. We love each other and get along swimmingly. I like all the people who like this show, too.
Yeah, we seriously need to come up with a name for y'all. Does creatives make sense? Nah, needs to be catchier.
Should we just call them what the f***ers?
I mean, it definitely sounds cool, but Jay, don't you think they'll be confused half the time? They'll be all, am I a Marin what the f***er or a UCAP what the f***er? FML.
FML is funny. Abbreviations are insanely helpful for a busy dude like myself.
You are busy, Jay. You're always on the go. Talking to someone, showing face around town. I like that about you. I'm fairly busy too.
I know you are. I love when we hang out and your phone is always ringing. I always go, hey, you're blowing up!
Yeah, I definitely have a lot going on my phone. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you, how's your phone doing, by the way?
Ugh, don't even ask. You really want to know? You really want to know how my phone is doing?
Oh, brother. Was it another issue at the so-called Genius Bar?
Yep. I feel like I'm the only person in my town who's been dealing with issues galore with geniuses? I thought geniuses are the folks we can count on. Galileo Galilei. Marie Curie, for instance, ring a bell?
What happened this time, my friend?
So yeah, weird thing happened to me again at the Apple Store. But before I get into it, first off, can I just say, how weird is it that I call something an Apple Store and your brain knows not to picture fruit, but rather pictures cell phones, desktops, comps, honestly, all kinds of tech. And of course, the quote-unquote genius bar, yes, but seriously, your brain is smart for knowing not to picture a fruit stand in this case.
I know. My brain is damn smart. It is capable of so many legendary things. But yeah, I know. Seriously, what was Apple thinking when they came up with that name?
Yeah, it's like, yo, go on your lunch break, y'all. You obviously have food on the mind. Just go eat a freaking sandwich and then name your company. If Apple did that, they'd be winning the war on PC computers handedly by now.
Yeah, companies seem hangry. Companies should eat before naming their damn products.
I know. BlackBerry, what's your deal, y'all? Just call your company something normal, like Cell Phones Inc., so we actually know what the hell you're trying to sell here.
I hate that company, Siemens. It's so awkward. Like the commercials always seem to come on when I'm with my parents.
Yeah, me too. I hate it.
Yeah, my parents and I are watching shows together, right? GOT, Malcolm in the Middle, Dexter, Sons of Anarchy. It doesn't even matter. Suddenly, some Siemens ad pops up on the screen, and I'm cringing like mad. But Jay, sorry, we got off track again. What happened at the Genius Bar this time?
Well, what baffles me every time I step foot in the Apple store is that even if you just spend thousands of dollars on their products, these hipster bearded, pierced a-holes do not have a restroom for their customers. They send you to a cafe next door.
Oh, so you had to go to the bathroom pretty bad?
Nah, but if I did, that would have sucked. Yes. Hi, cafe next door. No, I'm not interested in buying anything here. I'm just at the Apple store and really have to take a leak.
Damn. Yeah, that's so awkward. But how was the store besides the lack of facilities?
It was definitely a nice store, but very busy. The selection of items was nice, though I don't like how you have to travel to another room at the back to check out the accessories. The staff that I did encounter were nice and asked if we needed any help while we played with the iPads and MacBooks.
Nice. Well, that actually sounds like a pleasant trip to the Apple store. And pretty fortuitous that you didn't need to take that whiz you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, but it just takes so long to get anything done there. The staff is super friendly, though, and the plaza is gorgeous. But whatever, I'm just blabbing on and on at this point. What's been going on with you?
Oh, yes, I actually did have some drama with my roomies.
Your roomies? They always seem so chill. Nathan in particular.
And ironically, it was Nathan I had the interpersonal problems with.
Were you eating each other's labeled groceries in the fridge? That can often lead to some dark situations.
Not exactly. I wasn't hungry when the went down, merely curious.
About what?
Well, I was in Nathan's room looking around. I happened upon an old chess set under his bed. It must have been an antique, like really beautiful glass chess pieces.
Hmm.
And the board itself was similarly intricate. The board actually looked like what was that? Like it looked like the Battle of Waterloo.
Of Waterloo! Wow, that's amazing. So it wasn't one of those cheap ass chess sets that you buy at Target here.
No, it was really nice. And I was holding it and playing with the pieces when, of course, Nathan walks in.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. Yeah, he walks right up to me, tries to grab the horse and castle right from my hands, and says, "What the f*** are you doing?" Instinctively, just because I'm scared, I hold on to the horse and castle really tightly in my hands and don't let them go.
Yeah, I can see how that would happen. You were nervous. Did you shatter the pieces?
No, but eventually he succeeded in yanking them out of my grasp. And as soon as he does, he actually hits me. Nathan literally hit me in the arm.
Ouch, I'm sorry about that. That's a huge overreaction. But I'm sure you two will be able to work it out if you just tell him how it all went down the same way you just told me.
Yeah, maybe Nathan and I will even be able to play chess together sometime.
I'd maybe wait before proposing that. Anyways, I'm bored. Hey, let's debate. Okay, what do you think about this, Matthew? I think political satire is a very powerful force and can actually ultimately influence policy and create meaningful change.
eh, Not so much. I beg to differ. Satire can be funny, sure, But let's not kid ourselves that it's going to really make a difference to the bigwigs up there in the White House.
All right, let's take a look at Marr, for instance. When Marr was younger, he actually wanted to be president.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yep. I'm reading a biography of Marr right now. I can loan it to you when I'm done.
Yeah, so would you?
Yeah, just pardon all the notes in the margins.
Of course.
Anyway, he wanted to be president. But when puberty kicked in, Marr found himself developing a certain, shall we say, cynicism. During adolescence, Marr realized that his cynicism would pose a real impediment to winning the nomination. Like, imagine doing a town hall meeting and a voter asks, so what do you think of blah, blah, blah? And Marr would go, it's bullshit. Yeah, he would not be getting any votes.
True. So he became an entertainer instead?
Yes, but he retained an interest in political affairs. Now people look to him for laughs. And each time they laugh at his cynical ideas, they become more and more open to a candidate with that kind of attitude. It might not happen in the next 50 years, but with people like Marr paving the way, eventually voters might rally behind a man with a sharp tongue and a winning smirk.
Okay, you're definitely playing the long game with this one. But I still just don't see at all how political satire really changes people's minds. People only listen to it to hear their own already held opinions confirmed. It's a phenomenon that I often refer to as an echo chamber.
Echo chamber!
I see what you did there. But yeah, no, I'll give you an example. Like the other day, I saw a cartoon that depicted a buggy or carriage. I don't know which one, buggy or carriage, that was being pulled by a donkey on one side, and on the other side, it was being pulled by an elephant. The donkey was pulling in one direction, the elephant in the other. It's it's obvious the artist is frustrated by the Democrats and Republicans' failure to cooperate, and that's an issue that's close to my heart as well. But beyond the point the comic is trying to make, the thing that really stood out to me was how funny it was. I was laughing at what these animals were doing. It reminded me of being in a zoo. The laughs that I have there,
Yeah. Okay, the animals are funny in a zoo, yes, but back to the issue. Do you think that maybe if a Democrat and a Republican viewed this comic while having a fight, they might kiss and make up?
It's possible, I guess, but I think more likely they'd pause to laugh for a bit and then just get back to their damn infighting.
Matthew, I think you're more sympathetic to political satire than you think. You sound so cynical right now. You actually remind me of the antics Marr used to get into as a teen. And, of course, in his tumultuous early 20s.
Well, we'll see what happens in November. If Marr can pull this off, maybe my perspective will change.
So when is our guest Vera Drew coming?
Vera is a director, editor, writer, comedian known for...
Okay, I'm here.
How did you come in?
Didn't you hear Matthew? I'm a professional editor. I just edited myself into this conversation. To me, editing is an art form.
Welcome, Vera. I didn't realize you could do that, but I guess make yourself at home.
I am at home.
We record this podcast remotely.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm so foolish. I mean, make yourself at home at your home. I don't really think you're at my pad or anything right now.
That's right. You two DM'd me on Twitter asking if I wanted to be on this podcast. The first thing I asked was, well, are we going to do it over the internet or chill and meet space? You told me that it'd be over the internet and that I could stay home. Well, that sealed the deal for me because I've actually designed my home to be the perfect environment for me.
What is Meat space. It sounds like an ep of Star Wars or Star Trek that the writers wrote on Morning Glory, aka LSA.
Yeah. No animals were harmed in the production of this episode of, meat space? Vegetarians raise a quizzical eyebrow and switch the channel, of course.
Well, no, meat space is just a funny thing my friends sometimes say to refer to the offline physical world. There's something grotesque about the term that appeals to my sensibility. You see, I enjoy dark humor and making light of things that go bump in the night.
That's a good point. There's something deeply unsettling about the idea that ultimately we're all pretty much just meat. I mean, even offline, to be honest, it's easy to forget that. But there's something almost calming about the thought. It's a nice reminder of our mortality, that we'll all one day die. I'm always looking for nice reminders about that. But I just don't see how planets, black holes, and dwarf stars fit into all of this.
Well, the interesting thing you learn about while having the hobby of astronomy is that even those celestial bodies you mentioned are, in fact, quite ephemeral. It's hard to think of it on such a large scale of time, so we often think of things like the sun as a permanent fixture in our sky. But one day, even the sun will fizzle out in about 5 billion years when it runs out of hydrogen. That sounds like forever to us, but in the grand ass scheme of things, 5 billion years is nothing. The hobby of astronomy helps me to have some perspective while I'm working on my creative projects.
Okay, so just going back to this concept of meat space for a second, okay? I think it's interesting that even though this term is about offline life, it's still kind of operating on this metaphorical, hardware software division. Like, okay, we're in meat space, and the meat refers to the hardware, and we're no longer in the virtual world.
That's also a good point, Jay. I think you're right that even when we're, out there off the computer, we're still experiencing a kind of virtual world in our own heads. If we were to ever experience the thing itself, the raw meat or hardware of things, I think it would be traumatizing, like touching God. But in this case, it's our limited mortal experience of things that's transcendental. And material reality, the fibers of God's immanence, are what we find inaccessible and strive to reach, or rather turn away from.
That's a really good point, Matthew. I've actually found myself turning away from the net in the past week a bit myself. I can't help it. All I want to do is lay in bed, nom on some crap from the fridge, and watch Netflix. Excuse the cliche. I know Netflix and chill has become something of a joke in recent weeks, but Netflix is relaxing. You have to give it that.
I like to take night drives when I feel that way. It just sort of helps me get out of my head.
I take night drives too. Sometimes I'll just literally drive for hours until my mind is a blank, and then I return home and collapse in bed. That's usually when Netflix comes on.
Right, yeah. Turning on a show helps us learn a little bit more about the characters they wrote it about.
And sometimes about what happens before the episode starts, because sometimes they'll recap previous episodes for a minute there in the beginning. I'm serious, they do that.
Matthew and I have actually often discussed, like, how cool would it be if there was this show that was just all recaps? Like, you could tell a whole story through recaps of events that, like, were never even aired. I think this would be a cool gimmick for a show. I mean, it's a little experimental, sure, but I don't know, there's an appetite for that sort of thing nowadays. That's actually why we reached out to you, Vera, for this interview. We wanted to ask if maybe you wanted to direct and edit this project.
You sneaky bastards. Those timeless creatives are always up to something, huh, boys?
No pressure whatsoever. We just thought it would be nice for the three of us to put something out there for people who are fans of our work.
Whoa, that's actually a really cool notion, Matthew. Fans of our work need a way to pass time, and watching something we make together can be a great way to knock a few hours off the clock.
So, what do you think?
I'll probably have to take a few weeks to think about it. It's a great concept, but I have a lot going on right now. I also have a case of the blahs, and that does get in the way sometimes. Maybe when all of this is done, we can meet on Zoom or Google Hangouts and talk.
All right. Well, What else do you have going on?
Well, you both have seen Joker, right?
Yes, I've seen it. It's an interesting subversion of the Batman series. And instead of focusing on the hero, Batman, the movie examines the history of his main antagonist, the Joker. He's an anti hero. It's like The Sopranos.
That's right. It's exactly like The Sopranos. Well, I'm working on a film called The People's Joker. I wrote a whole script for it. I use clips from Todd Phillips' Joker as well as other Joker movies, other movies featuring clowns, and footage that I'll be filming myself.
That's amazing. I believe parody and satire can be used to illuminate many aspects of the human condition.
My thoughts exactly. It's also a personal project for me in many ways. It's not just that I'm re-editing Joker. I'm also telling my own story of gender dysphoria, drug abuse, and coming out as a trans woman.
That's awesome.
I like to think so. It's the sort of thing you'll like so much that it'll be one of those movies you return to again and again to rewatch. And hey, maybe one day it'll be on Netflix.
That's great. It sounds like a lot of work, though.
Maddie, we know Vera has a strong work ethic. This is something we've talked about.
You have?
Yeah, Matthew and I discuss everything. Well, almost everything. Sometimes we just read each other's crap on Twitter.
So that means you probably know what your creative writing partner ate for breakfast.
Yes. Jay ate a bowl of grape nuts with milk and a little dessert of fruit snacks.
Okay, and Matthew, of course, ate scrambled eggs and buttered toast at the table.
Twitter, the only place where people somehow feel compelled to share what they ate for breakfast, and also where the alt-right likes to discuss their harebrained ideas.
Yeah, we'll just stick with sharing our breakfasts. There's something about the rise of the alt-right that just gets under our skin.
Yep. But basement-dwelling trolls are ripe for parody.
Amen to that. I do a funny thing on Twitter, actually, where my username, or my handle in Twitter terms, is Vera Drew 22. Makes it memorable, you know, to have a number rhyme with my name, Vera Drew 22.
That's awesome. Whoa.
Plus, it always gets a few laughs, which leads people to read the post. And voila, followers.
You must have been high when you added the 22 to your username.
Not too much. I was high when I came up with the idea, but I was actually too high to figure out how to change the settings on the gizmo. So I added 22 when I was going through withdrawal.
Oof, that's rough.
It's all good. Cannabis withdrawal is not life-threatening, though heavy consumers sometimes experience mood swings and insomnia when they quit cold turkey.
Cold turkey!
And the conversation swings back to meat.
Sure, I'm willing to talk about meat, but as a vegetarian, I won't eat the stuff.
It's definitely trippy to eat animals. Like, oh, here's a cow between two buns of bread, but somehow we call it a hamburger, and that's okay?
Leave it to hunters to come up with a catchy word to disguise how gross their products are.
Amen to that.
So, Vera, hey, any final words before you head out?
I can't think much worth saying that hasn't already been said. There's nothing new under the sun, or as they said.
Come on, word of advice to listeners? Maybe some fun Snapple fact?
Ooh, Snapple facts. Now that brings me back. So damn funny. I actually recently met the team of writers who wrote those. Surprisingly normal, down-to-earth people, but definitely had a mischievous glint in their eyes.
Whoa, where did you meet them?
That, my friends, is a story for another time.
Fair enough. Do you have any other cool projects you want to plug before we head off our separate ways?
Yeah, my web series, Hot Topics. An ep actually just came out yesterday. Each ep, I tackle a subject related to hot topic culture while humorously sharing personal details about my life, transition, and my trauma.
That's really cool. It's awesome that you call them eps as well.
Yeah.
We do that too from time to time, when the mood strikes. Obviously, only when it makes sense, though. But yeah, if we were to be talking to a foreign dignitary or a chancellor, we'd probably want to stick with episodes.
Amen to that.
We are super excited to check out your show. And wait, where can we find out more info on the People's Joker?
thepeoplesjoker.com.
Welp, have a great rest of the day, Vera.
Well, bye, Vera.
Well, bye, TTC.
See you later.
I think she's already gone.
Whoa, another editing trick. I didn't even see her walk out of the room.
I had this funny realization lately. I saw this advertisement for a carpet, and a certain, albeit small, percentage of the carpet was made of plastic. So basically, because plastic is basically oil, the advert was telling me that this carpet I was considering purchasing was made of, oil.
What? Wait, are you serious? How the hell are you supposed to walk on the carpet? Have you ever tried walking on oil? It's so slippery like a banana peel.
Yeah, oil-based carpets. How absurd. Everyone would start to get pimples all over the bottoms of their feet. It would look like the quote-unquote wonder years under folks' feet.
Wars in the Middle East would be fought over it. Because so many wars in the Middle East are fought over oil.
People could make paintings, oil paintings that is, out of the substance stuck to the carpet, which, as I've mentioned, is oil. Hey, do you ever take CBD oil?
Are you even curious, or you just like the word oil at this point?
Yes, I like saying the word oil.
Oh, wow. People would need to start making rugs out of balsamic vinegar. That way you collect all the oil in carpets and you pour it into a small, shallow pan. Set over medium-low heat and add some minced garlic. Leave the oil and garlic over the heat just until it's warmed. Obviously, you're not cooking it, you're just warming this. And then you pour the oil onto a deep plate or sort of a wide, shallow bowl. Immediately sprinkle with oregano, parmesan, black pepper. Serve with hot, crusty bread. You are going to love this. Eating the bread and oil. Folks, prepare to abandon your dinners.
I don't know whether to laugh at that or get straight up hungry. Well, I suppose it's that time again.
Yeah. Clock's ticking and we ain't getting any younger.
That's not to say we have gray hairs or anything, but we do have other things to get to today.
Yes, that's right. Chores, the bane of our existence.
I actually had a bad fall a couple days ago while doing them, so I took some time off from my chores.
That's what I call chores 1, Matthew 0.
Jay, don't you have a pile of dishes from your fruit snacks you had for breakfast?
Sigh. Chores 1, J 0.
Who's keeping score? Fuck it.
Yeah, good point. No pun intended, my friend. No pun intended.
Okay. Shall we wrap up?
I mean, I don't see why not. It's our show, so we can close it out for the night whenever we please.
All right. Well, we want to thank Vera Drew for her fascinating interview. She definitely brought something new to the table, and we just want to state here for the record that we look forward to working with her again sometime.
We also want to thank our listeners. Up Close and Personal would be ridiculous, honestly, if we didn't have anyone listening to it. It's ridiculous already, but yeah, it would be even more ridiculous.
I think it's notable that the subscribers to Up Close and Personal actually practice active listening.
Huh? Active listening? What is that? Like listening while running a marathon? Or
Nope. It means they're engaged while they listen. Our fan base appreciates the intensity of this podcast. And when they play the EPs, they don't relegate them to the background while performing some other activity.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And they tend to show signs of engagement as well. Many of our listeners, certainly not all, nod their heads during our statements and riffs. Some of them say, uh-huh, whoa, and go on. Others maintain a direct, focused gaze in the direction of their audio equipment during the duration of each episode.
That's right. They're awesome.
Yeah, but before we go, we want to let listeners know that we actually have a new feature on Up Close and Personal.
Oh, yeah, I almost forgot completely.
Yep. On every episode, we always debate a controversial issue. From now on, we'll be previewing next week's topic at the end of every episode. So if you have an opinion or perspective on the issue, you can actually chime in for a chance to be featured on next week's ep.
Mm-hmm. Next week, we'll be debating whether social media has improved our lives. If you have any thoughts on the matter, any thoughts whatsoever, just call us at 978-616-7922 and leave a message. And basically, I think you can just leave a message.
Yeah, we'll repeat. It's like, remember these commercials. 978-616-7992.
Okay, everyone. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe to us and continue getting episodes every Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, and hey, real fast, don't forget to tell your friends about this podcast.
That's right. It's an excellent show that can be listened to under any circumstances, even in a bath.
Or in a taxi.
Or after making an amends to someone our listener has harmed.
Honestly, even in a damn zoo. You'll just probably have to blast it to drown out the woofs and meows.
Wherever you listen, just don't forget, enjoy the next episode of Up Close and Personal. Peace.